Hey everyone, Dave Durante here at Power Monkey headquarters. Today we're going to be talking about higher level handstand walking exercises. So these are going to be for those athletes out there that have no problem walking in a straight line, have competed maybe in handstand walking before, but actually prepare ourselves for maybe some things that might be seeing at a higher level, some obstacles, some getting more proficient in walking in different directions. So this might be for you if you're a little bit of a higher level handstand walker. Now, one exercise that I see done quite often with athletes at all levels is a shoulder tap or a shoulder touch. Normally done up against the wall, but it's not really done with a lot of intention. Normally the hand just kind of rips off the ground, get back down to the ground, kind of fast, more about trying to get it down before you collapse than it is about precision. That exercise should be done slowly, controlled. It's about weight distribution, about balance and control. Higher level athletes, what you should be working towards to be able to create stability in that shoulder is one arm handstand holds up against the wall. Now these are not easy to do, but we want athletes to be able to actually understand how to control what's happening from that shoulder so you can eventually take steps with precision in any direction that you want. Not just falling forward, but also walking laterally, backwards, forwards, in circles, in any direction that you might be required to. And it comes from being able to actually hold yourself just as you would on one foot before you actually take a step. The same thing starts with a one-arm handstand hold. Using the wall obviously creates some stability for you, but we want to be able to actually just get stacked so we understand how the shoulder can control ourselves when we're on just one hand. Another great exercise here is to actually use the wall, but to walk laterally. We're so used to be falling forward and just walking from point A to point B, but a lot of times what ends up happening is that this is less about a handstand walk and more about a controlled fall. And what we end up seeing is that higher level athletes make up for poor position and poor technique because they're incredibly strong. Don't allow that strength to divert your attention from proper technique. So these wall walks are more about taking steps with precision, making sure that every step is done with intention, using that lateral shift side to side so that we can start working on walking laterally in different directions as opposed to only walking forward and catching ourselves from falling. Much different than actually taking a step on purpose. Now this exercise will probably be one of the harder ones that you try as an athlete. Normally we don't ask athletes to walk laterally on purpose in a straight line. Normally it's about speed, and it's normally about a straight point A to point B direction with the feet falling over the head, over the hands in this arch position, trying to go in a straight line as quickly as possible. Walking laterally goes a long way in building precision. We've done it up against the wall. Now we're going to try to do it freestanding along a single line. That line is going to be our guide. We're going to do our best to try to keep that hand on the line as we walk in each direction to make sure, again, that we're working with purpose, that every step is done with intention. Try to keep the center part of that palm directly in that line as you go down and walk in each direction. Normally starting off with just about 3 steps in each direction, 3 to the left, 3 to the right is a good place to start out, and then eventually build the distance in each direction from there. All right, now we're getting serious with our handstand walking exercises. This is one of my favorite ones. It's the square. It's a good challenge for all of you athletes out there that think you have a good handstand walk. Now we'll really test it. So what we're gonna do is set up 4 markers, creating a square about 10 feet apart from each other. You can start the square a little bit smaller if you want. It's fine to do, especially if this is new for you. But what we're gonna do is test out walking in every direction. So we'll start at the bottom left-hand corner and we're gonna walk up, which is something you're probably accustomed to doing. Then we're gonna use that lateral walk along the top part of that square. Then we're gonna walk backwards. Now backwards is probably gonna be a challenge for a lot of people. And essentially the reason for it is because we don't have any stability in the palm of our hands. This is also important to note. We'll see a lot of people turning the fingers out on handstand walking. Not really a part of this discussion. Normally has to do with a lot of wrist mobility issues and things like that. But when you're walking backwards, there's no place for your fingertips to dig into the ground to control what's going on. So it requires more of your shoulders to do the controlling. This is where understanding of a higher level handstand will really help control yourself if you are walking backwards. Let's see if you can keep on your hands when you're walking through that 3rd segment. And then lastly, you're gonna take that 4th segment back to your starting point, walking laterally in the opposing direction, trying to stay in one line. The goal will be to try to stay around the cones the entire time. Do the best you can. Once you become proficient in one direction, we'll try to do the exact same thing in the opposing direction. So instead of starting up, we'll start laterally and work our way back counterclockwise. All right, so now we're gonna take that same square and add a little wrinkle to it. Now, many athletes, if you're doing this type of exercise, you're watching this video, you may have competed before, you may have tried a challenge, walking up an incline or down some steps, up some parallel bars, whatever it might be. We're gonna try to add a little bit of a stepping stone process in here to give yourself another wrinkle to be able to challenge yourself. We're gonna put a plate. Now, a good way to do this is actually put a plate of various heights at each of the 4 corners to give yourself a little bit of a different understanding of how high you need to raise that hand to be able to complete the step. Starting low is fine. Starting with a 10 and 15 pound plate is absolutely fine. Working towards a 45 and beyond if you want to give yourself a bigger challenge. But I do want to see 4 plates at each of the midpoints of that square so that as you're going through, you have to walk up and down, take a step so that it's not just a linear walk. You do have a little barrier to walk over. Let's see if that added wrinkle gives you enough of a challenge to be able to understand how to work through what you might expect if you're in a competitive setting. Thanks again, everyone, for watching this particular video. Please like, subscribe, put some comments down there. We want to hear from you. We want to make sure that we're working with you as best we possibly can. And also, as we always say, send us your videos. We want to see how these progressions are coming along, and we want to be able to help out as much as possible. Send us so we can send back some feedback. Check us on PowerMonkeyFitness.com, and we have a lot more information coming out soon.